Hi everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day. I got new bookshelves! That's really exciting, but it's not what this video is about. I just saw the Sea of Monsters film and I'm going to be talking about it, or ranting about it, depending on how this goes. I honestly don't know whether to laugh or cry because this film was either a joke or a horrid tragedy. Basically, they strayed as far from the book plot as possible while still keeping the title and the characters' names. I guess first I'll talk about the characters. Book Percy is really snarky and funny, and he says things without thinking them through, which kind of gets him into trouble sometimes, but that's what makes him endearing. Movie Percy, on the other hand, doesn't really say much at all. He doesn't contribute to the dialogue in any sense, and he's just a really boring character. Book Grover and Movie Grover are basically as far from each other as they could possibly be. But the character I really want to talk about is Annabeth, because Book Annabeth is one of my favorite characters. She's a bit reminiscent of Hermione Granger in the way that she's extremely intelligent and a bit of a know-it-all. Annabeth is the daughter of Athena, who is the wisdom goddess, so naturally Annabeth is extremely intelligent and wise, and she usually has a plan. Movie Annabeth, on the other hand, I mean, I don't want to say she's dumb, but she's not bright. While Book Annabeth would construct a plan and follow through with it and make everyone in awe of how genius she is, Movie Annabeth says things like, "Where are we?" and "What's the plan?" and "What is that?" It was just frustrating and I wanted to bang my head into a wall. Moving on to Clarisse, who wasn't even mentioned in the first movie. She just suddenly appears in the second film. And first off, the girl who plays Clarisse is really pretty. Like, what? Who casted this? I mean, she's a good actress and everything, but she's just not Clarisse. And she's nowhere near as mean as Book Clarisse. In fact, at the end of the film, Clarisse compliments Tyson. Like, who are you and where's Clarisse? I guess that brings me to Tyson, and in the book, Tyson is Percy's friend at his school, and he's basically a 7 to 8-year-old Cyclops, so he's still a baby, and he doesn't really speak properly. He doesn't always form full sentences or use correct grammar, and it's because he's basically like a toddler. Yeah, no, that's not how Movie Tyson was. Movie Tyson actually spoke in full coherent sentences and knew things about camp somehow. And I guess that brings me to the plot, because Tyson and Percy don't start off as friends. Tyson just randomly shows up at camp. So the beginning of the book is completely off. There's no empathy link between Grover and Percy whatsoever. The dodgeball gym scene with the cannibals? Nope. Chiron being kicked out of the activities director and being replaced by Tantalus? Nope. Any of the chariot races? No. The way Percy meets Hermes and the gifts that Hermes gives all changed. The Princess Andromeda, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Changed. Speaking of the Princess Andromeda, Chris Rodriguez is suddenly a big character in this film. He's mentioned like once in the Sea of Monsters, but apparently he's like Luke's right-hand man in the movies. They already mention Ethan Nakamura, and he looks like he's like 30 years old. And don't even get me started on how they spoiled one of the biggest plot twists of Last Olympian. They just threw to the audience that Selena Beauregard is already on Luke's side. Like, hello, what do you think you're doing? Who wrote this script? Anyway, back to the plot. Circe's Island? Nope. The sirens, like, that is actually one of my favorite scenes because it shows so much of Annabeth's character. Yep, nope, not at all. Their whole thing with Charybdis completely changed. The way they get to Polyphemus' Island and what Polyphemus' Island even looks like, yep, no. And what the frick is Circe Land? And oh my god, when they start singing It's a Small World, I understand that they're trying to add comedic relief, but at least do it well and make it relevant. Polyphemus looks like an ogre. Grover is just in a dress, and that's not even explained. There's no wedding at all. Luke somehow is there. Like, the crew members, like Percy, Tyson, Annabeth, and Clarisse, they had to go through like so much trouble to get there, and then Luke is just suddenly there with all his minions. Like, what? Where the frick did you come from? And he just snatches up the golden fleece, just like that. Another change in plot, Luke actually got the golden fleece and he put it over Cronus's sarcophagus thing and cured Cronus. kind of resurrected him, and Cronus just suddenly had like this new body and he looked like a transformer. And then when he was reformed, Luke was like, I'm your great-great-grandson or something like that. And Cronus says, my favorite, grabs him, and just wait for it, eats him. He eats Luke. Do you understand me? He eats Luke. What? 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 Or Cronus is just throwing people in his mouth like popcorn. When Annabeth dies, I can't. And Clarisse is crying. Clarisse is crying over Annabeth's death. Oh, okay, and let's mention the Great Prophecy, which somehow is revealed by the Oracle in this one, when in the books it's not revealed yet. So it's like the half-blood of the eldest gods shall reach 20 before all odds. I mean, they changed 16 to 20, which I guess makes sense because they, for some reason, hired super old actors to play 12 and 13-year-olds in the films, right? Yeah. So whatever, I guess it's okay. But then they say like the cursed blade shall reap or whatever, and Anaclusmos is not the cursed blade, okay? Annabeth's knife is the cursed blade, and they don't realize that until the 5th book. But no, that is not what they do in the movie. Suddenly Riptide is the cursed blade, and I don't understand, and it's just so dumb. It's the whole movie in one word. It's dumb. He eats Luke. I just cannot get over the fact that he eats Luke. The party ponies, gone. And also this is, I guess, kind of irrelevant, but nectar. Nectar is the drink of the gods, and from what I've gathered from the first book, rereading the first book, Grover hasn't tasted it because, like, Percy drinks it when he's wounded, and he's like, what does it taste like? And Percy's like, oh, I should have let you have a sip or something, but, like, I don't know. And also, you're only supposed to drink it when you're wounded. And if you drink too much of it, then you burn up. I don't know, in the film they make it seem like it's like some kind of amazing drink and you haven't lived until you tasted it. And then in the end, they drink it in like little shot glasses and it looks like alcohol. And I'm like, oh, God, you guys are all gonna burn up. Also, another little thing, I guess, except it's not all that little, mist. It's not sprayable. It's not like perfume. You don't just spray it over things to make it look different, and that's not how it's used. Oh, and who else was really disappointed by the Golden Fleece? I imagined it to be like this huge pile of wool fleece, I don't know, and it was like gold and like springy and beautiful and heavy. Like, in the movie it's like a tiny blanket looking thing. Gods, that was so disappointing. The fact that practically nothing stayed the same to the book was just really infuriating, because I remember when the Hunger Games film came out, everyone was like, oh my god, they changed the way that Katniss got the Mockingjay pin, or Peeta's leg wasn't injured. And it's like, it's okay, because in book to movie adaptations, it is necessary for you to change some things and take out some parts. So I understood, you know, the Mockingjay pin was fine, Peeta's leg, it's okay, whatever. But to change everything, that is just so undeniably stupid and unreasonable. I know Rick Riordan made like this vow not to watch any of the films because it would like interfere with the characters in his mind and the characters that he created. And if I were him, I wouldn't watch the films either, because I think I would kill myself over the shame that these films bring to the books. And I think that basically sums up my opinion on this movie. I guess to sum this up nicely, if you're going into this film reading the books, like as a fan of the Percy Jackson series, perhaps you should just expect a comedy or a parody, because Lord knows my friends and I were just cracking up over scenes that were unintentionally hilarious. And if you're going to see this film just as a person who hasn't read the books, just to see a good movie, then I guess it has its own merit. I don't know. What should happen is that I should become a screenwriter and produce book-to-movie adaptations to show these people how it's done. If you've seen this film, please leave me a comment, because I would love to discuss it with you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and happy reading. Bye. What are you doing? Don't walk on my roof. It's a small world after all.